Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. We got some more news, a little Friday news dump here on the channel. The Bears have signed a former third-round pick. They have re-signed the longest-tenured player on this team, plus brought back an interesting player that flashed late last season. We'll get into all that here on the show. If you're excited for NFL free agency, if you want to stay in the loop for the latest Bears coverage on a day-to-day basis, hit that subscribe button, like this video. We appreciate all the love, the support. Make sure you're lighting up the comment section as well. Likes, comments, subs. We appreciate it. Let's continue to grow this show. Okay, the Bears have signed safety Tarvarius Moore, former third-round pick in 2018 with the San Francisco 49ers out of Southern Miss. Interesting player. Did not play last year due to a knee injury. He had actually signed with the Packers before getting released due to an injury settlement. He also missed all of 2021 with an Achilles tear, so he's had some injuries in the last few years. His best season was in 2022, started 8 games, 52 tackles, had a TFL, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. 13 career starts and 5 seasons played. If we're being honest about this situation, because I know, I already have some DMs, people ask me on Twitter, is this the Eddie Jackson replacement? This is not the Eddie Jackson replacement. I can't imagine that being the case. He's never been a full-time starter. But this is a guy with experience as a backup. He's started, like I said, 13 games. He has special teams experience as well. Now, he's getting up there now because he was drafted in 2018, but he's still only 27 years old, so he's not like an old 7-year player, if that makes sense. Plus, even though he's had those 2 injuries, not a lot of tread on the tires because of that. So, a worthwhile guy. And remember, you have a 90-man roster in the offseason. So you're going to see a lot of this roster shuffling guys on the back end. And I look at this as probably a training camp body to compete for a 53-man roster spot. Maybe he competes with Elijah Hicks as your third safety, Adrian Colbert, guys like that. You bring him into the fold and you see what he can do. His best year, like I said, was in 2022. His PFF grades that year, by the way, just for another metric, overall 69.9, pretty solid, very nice, some might say. Run defense 68.4. His coverage was 65 grade there. His passer rating when targeted was pretty good as well. So played pretty well that season as a part-time starter for San Francisco. He started 3 games the year prior, two games back in 2018 as well. So, look, he's done some decent things here overall. And by the way, I misspoke. Those numbers I said for 2022 earlier, those were actually 2020. That was his best season. Did play a little bit in 2022 as well. So looking at his 2020 PFF grades, a little lower, 60 overall, 56 in coverage, run defense 70. So the more he's had to play, the less he's performed. And it just kind of goes to show this is a rotation guy. This is a backup. This is not someone who's changing the complexion of this defense or something like that. It's another safety in the room. We'll see if he sticks around and gets to the offseason program, can show what he's got. I would imagine this is a 1-year vet minimum, non-guaranteed type of deal, and we'll see. We'll see how he fits into the fold. Be honest, have you heard of Tarvarius Moore before today? Not Tarvarius Ward, the all-pro corner with the 49ers, Tarvarius Moore, the safety, former third-round pick. Type Y for yes, you have heard of him, or N for no, you have not. So Tarvarius Moore, new addition for the Chicago Bears. Let's get to a couple internal moves. The longest-tenured Bear, Patrick Scales. Yes, he returns. Another 1-year deal up to $1.25 million, just under $1 million in guaranteed money. He is back for another season. He's been with the team since 2015. This will be, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Year 10 for Patrick Scales in Chicago. He's been around, man. He's been around since year 1 of John Fox. Obviously, the Matt Nagy days, and still here entering year 3 of Matt Eberflus. With Eddie Jackson and Cody Whitehair no longer on the team, he's by far the longest-tenured Bear. Quality long snapper, nothing, really to, dive super deep into. Mr. Steady, Patrick Scales. So certainly glad to see him back in the fold. He's been reliable, so you bring him back. That seems like a no-brainer. No reason to change long snappers. Still have Richard Hightower as your special teams coach. We'll see if punter Trenton Gill remains. I would think the Bears might bring in some competition for him. He didn't have a great year, so we'll see on that front. But kicker Cairo Santos, long snapper Patrick Scales back in the fold for 2024, and in Cairo's case, for a few more years as well. Get the 48s going in the comments. Shout out to Patrick Scales for returning for year number 10. Go ahead and throw his jersey number to show some love to Patrick Scales as he is back for another year. Okay, maybe the most intriguing to me in terms of Friday's news dump for the Chicago Bears is extending / signing Colin Johnson to a one-year deal. He, of course, signed in the middle of last year to a practice squad deal after rupturing his Achilles back in 2022 when he was having a great training camp and preseason with the Giants. Snapped the Achilles, missed all of last season. Signs with the Bears practice squad this year. And late in the year, was kind of getting some run. I can't remember if he had any catches or not. I'll pull up his reference page real quick here. Colin Johnson had just the one catch for 11 yards, but played in 3 games down the stretch. Big body guy. I remember we talked about when he signed, 6'6", 220 pounds, 5th round pick out of Texas back in 2020, just 26 years old, and competes for wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6. Could this mean that they're going to let Equinemius St. Brown go? Maybe. They're kind of similar to me, big body receivers that can block, and occasionally you can throw the ball to them and they'll make a play. Colin Johnson at Texas was a jump ball machine, but injuries have kind of held him back in the NFL. But I'd like to see him with a full healthy offseason get an opportunity. And look, I mean, you've got DJ Moore, Tyler Scott, and Velus Jones under contract. After that, I mean, Colin Johnson, wide receiver 4 right now. Obviously, I expect them to add to this room, but I think there will be a chance for him to compete for a 53-man roster spot. I really, really do. I don't know if, maybe the Bears view him as like a wide receiver tight end hybrid. I mean, he's a pretty good blocker. They kind of used him in that role, not as an inline blocker, but just as a guy to block in space late last year in the run game and on the perimeter wide receiver screen game. So, I think he can play some of that type of role. I don't know if he'll give you a ton of special teams value, so that could determine if he can make this roster or not. But obviously the Bears have liked EQ the past couple of years, but they have not re-signed EQ as of now. So if they don't, Colin Johnson might just be your EQ replacement, wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6, blocker in the run game, and go from there. We'll see if that ends up being his role or not. But it's kind of what we saw late last year, and obviously with the new offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, in here, we don't know how he views Equinemius St. Brown at this point in time. We don't know how he views any of these guys, to be fair, but obviously in general, the Bears need to add to this offense, and especially that wide receiver room. DJ Moore, great. We're hoping Tyler Scott can develop. Maybe there's still hope for Velus Jones. I don't think we're holding out a ton of hope there. If we can at least get some value out of him, that would be nice. I am still holding out hope for Tyler Scott. I thought there were flashes last year. He just had some untimely drops. But he can separate. He can get open. I think he's got a little more polish to his game than Velus Jones does. But as far as the rest of that room goes, obviously need to add more. And depending on how much they add, could determine whether or not Colin Johnson has a legitimate chance to make the Bears 53-man roster. All right, there you have it. Some news items for you here on a Friday. If you missed our video just a few hours ago, go check it out. Subscribe. Go to the video tab. Here on the end screen, you will see the video pop as well. Some new Bears rumors that we dove into. Justin Fields, how Russell Wilson impacts his market. Also, some rumors around Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, if the Bears are going to be in on one of those 2 running backs. We, of course, will have videos Saturday and Sunday to get you ready for our Monday live stream day one of NFL free agency. The legal tampering period should be a whole lot of fun. So keep it locked in here. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notifications. Follow me on social media as well at HGramNFL to stay in the know with everything going on around the Chicago Bears. I'll keep you informed all weekend long and going on into next week. We will see you guys soon. Bear down. See you next time.